Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the SLB Show. And when you look at the screen, there's not just one face, there's not two, there's not three. All four of us are here. I think this might be the first time since the pre-season this has happened. Guys, I would ask how you all are, but just give us a wave.
Hey.
Louis too cool to wave. But what a weekend we've had of British basketball. Loads of games throughout the weekend. With it coming up to international window as well, we're going to do kind of almost that mid-term report, but kind of see it, talk about it in a different kind of way. But we want to kind of start. Let's fire straight into some kind of big kind of talking points from the weekend and heading into GB window. But I think the best place to start was the 51-point game from Rayshon Taylor. If you'd watched Newcastle on Wednesday night, you didn't see them having one player scoring 51 points against Surrey. That's for sure with how Surrey had been recently. But Louis, we don't see a lot of big 50-odd point games. It's not the NBA type thing. So this is a pretty big deal, and he shot the ball incredibly well.
I mean, it's FIBA play. He's literally got 40 minutes, not 48. So to get into it, yeah, he just killed, basically. To the rim, obviously his outside shot. Everything was firing. Surrey looked dead in the water, really. Ronald Polite didn't really look right in that game. Their guards, just everything was dead. Rayshon kind of capitalized, so big up to him.
Is this one of these things when, Mitch, you think you look at Rayshon Taylor and he's kind of had that about him all season? You thought, when you look at Newcastle, we kind of touched on, Louis and I, in the pre-season about how they're going to be relying on Rayshon Taylor and at the time Caleb Huffman. But we kind of was waiting for this moment to happen.
Yeah, I mean, again, he's been on our radar since pre-season. Potential is always there. We saw Surrey's weekend as a whole. They've kind of not had a very positive weekend all around, and this kind of was maybe the start of that sort of tip. But he was dominant on all fronts. 18 free throws, and he scores 14 of them. That alone is just, you can't knock that again. That's a massive credit to him for that success. Just great game all around. Nothing else I can really add on that.
But when we look at that Newcastle team, we've often talked about it in the last previous seasons as well, Matt, about how it's almost like one player turns up every game, and it just happened to is. Why do we think that is with Newcastle? When you look at Newcastle, why do you think they're not able to just perform sometimes as a team? They're obviously 7-14 in the league, but you've got in a guy like Rayshon Taylor, who I think he had a 30-point game in the NBL at one point, but 51 points in an SLB game.
Yeah, 51 points. That's like the British basketball equivalent of Kobe Bryant's 70-point game, innit? No one scores 50 in the SLB, and it's amazing to see. Just even as a neutral, I think it's just great for the sport. So fair play to him. I think
long and short of it,
I don't know whether
buckets.
or not.
Sorry,
I don't know whether or not it's like a Stootle thing, but he's very whenever you see him coaching or anything like that, he's very. He gets players hyped, and he's very I feel, and I'm absolutely the least qualified person on this panel to talk about it, but he feels very man coachy rather than X's and O's. So maybe if he gets enough talent, he can kind of inspire performances from individuals better than he can draw up systems and stuff like that. I don't know if that's a fair assessment, but just from the patterns we've seen from Newcastle having essentially bands of mercenaries, individual performers taking it in turns to go off. Maybe that's kind of his approach, but I'd be interested to see what you guys think.
Anyone want to have a think of that? Go, Louis, go.
So it's just, I think Stu was very kind of mismatch hunting, really like an NBA style. I've kind of talked about this in the past. But he's looking for advantageous matchups, which obviously lends itself to a lot of one-on-one play. Rayshon Taylor's just an absolute killer. He's a 3-level scorer. He can score from anywhere with his shot making, and he's surprisingly quick too. So in terms of kind of advantageous matchups, there's various ways he can attack that. So yeah, and Newcastle often do get into this kind of stagnant offense a little bit sometimes gets a little bit stodgy. So yeah, it's got buckets, man.
No, I think you're right though. I think Mark's style of play favors the individual rather than the team. To your point, Matt, I think you look at the last 2-3 years of Newcastle and the high character guys they bring in, that any one of them could go off for 30 any given night. And this is just Rayshaw's night. He's just got, I think, to your point, I think he is very people centered. I think he's very much, he gets the best of individuals. We saw what Terrell Burden did in the final. Like, that's another example of him, of when it mattered, someone stepping up and having a big game. That just seems to be still sort of style with how he coaches players. And if he can get more games like that out of some of his guys this season, it's a win-win across the board.
But when we look at that Newcastle thing, is that where, if you're a Newcastle fan, you're disappointed because, well, as you say, 8th in the table, 2 games back on Leicester in the wins column, but they've obviously got plenty of games in hand, Leicester. And you go, okay, what is the objective to try and get that 7th place, avoid potentially London in the table? We'll talk maybe a bit more on this later on. But I look at that moment like Rayshon and how they played against Surrey. Yes, Surrey looked a team that were banged up a little bit, polite, hurt, playing all that, and then no Michael Graham either makes a huge difference as well.
I would love to hear from an Eagles fan to see, like, how do you think, like, what does a successful season look like? Like, because, you know, they made the finals this year, like, for the Cup. They are playing Europe, but they've won 7 games in the league all season out of 21. Like, if I'm an Eagles fan, it's not good enough. And these, like, one random performances are cool, but overall, I'd kind of be a little bit annoyed that, you know, for all this, you know, the winningest team in the most storied franchise in British basketball, you're doing all the stuff, but it's not translating into the league. And for me, as a purist, you win the league. Like, if you want to be good, you do well in the league, right? And maybe not win the league in the London Lions era. Maybe win the league is not realistic, you know, if they're 10x in everyone's budgets. But, like, you need to perform in the league, and performances like this are incredible and historic. But, you know, congratulations, you got your 7th win of the season. So you're just lucky that the Gladiators are in the bin, essentially. Otherwise, you'd miss the playoffs.
And you know what, let's move on from that and talk about the Gladiators in a way that's a great segue in. And you're talking about small positives for the Gladiators. We've been waiting to see what would maybe happen Blues-wise. We've been kind of questioning whether or not any of their guys from the Blues are going to get involved. We've seen it in the women's program. But you know what? Nino Safa, someone who's been well regarded coming through, he's 16 years, 1 month, and 17 days old today. And he hits on the court, played, I think, 5 minutes, I think he got. But inside that first minute, ball comes in, Dwayne Jones Jr. out to the wing, and he swishes it through the basket. I think that might be, there's very few things to kind of hold on to as a Glads fan these days. But very much a cool moment seeing a 16-year-old kid on the pro court hitting a nice shot in absolute rhythm. Louis, go.
I mean, I was cheering at home. I was very happy. We've had a lot of discussion, Ron, about my thoughts on the Blues and how I feel like it creates a purpose to the league. You know, if you're sitting bottom of the table, there's not much to fight for. Let's be real. We're talking about Newcastle, like, worrying about the Glads. It's a big gap now, you know. So to create this use kind of for the league, you know, you can use it to create more players, you know, via the Blues pathway. And Nino, you know, took his chance. He got the 3, which I loved. You know, he's a very talented player at 16, you know, big guards, you know. So yeah,
I watched them on Sunday. I went on to play sport earlier because I knew that the Blues were playing St Mirren, and I was like, you know what, I'll go check out some of this game. And it's amazing that, okay, you look at the Blues results and think, okay, they're not doing really well, whatever else, but they're all 16, 17, 18, maybe some of them might be turning 19. They're all young guys. They lack a natural big. But the best player on the court from a Gladiators Blues point of view was Nino. Like, defensively, he was a menace. He's scoring points from beyond the arc, at the basket. He actually handled the ball a lot of the time as well. He's someone that clearly is well thought of within the organisation. Mitch, you've gone up against him with Boromir. When you look at Nino, what do you see the potential there?
I mean, I watched some of the stuff last season and even this year as well. It's just getting better and better, and clearly the time with the Gladiators is making a difference. His potential is yet to be seen. He's only 16 years old. How much he develops in the next 2 years is going to be massive for him. But the fact he's getting exposure at senior level already is a really good sign. And that's not just at Caledonia Blues, but if he's involved with the pro team as well, it's a really good step. My hope would be that the perspective for Gladiators will change in the next few weeks, and potentially we see more of these young Blues get some more minutes. But that's yet to be seen. Nino's the first one in a while that we've seen, and he's one of the youngest in a while just to get a bucket in the league. So credit to him.
I'm really struggling to think of who else at 16 has played in a long time.
We need Dan
And
Roush to confirm.
It
And the
might have been one of
SLB
those
era.
Cheshire kids that they've had like the
Was
past
there
couple
not-
seasons.
Someone
Lucas,
got
what's his name? Like Lucas.
He
had
was
the-
Lucas
18,
scored,
but-
didn't he score the cup? Was it the cup he scored a bucket?
Okay.
I can't remember how old he is though. So, but we need to
Because
fact check
Cheshire
that.
usually have like a really young kid, like that Welsh kid last season.
Yeah, they were talking about it for the
Yeah.
Cheshire game on Sunday when he hit all those threes about him potentially hitting the one that broke the record. But we'll get to that.
I mean, I didn't see that, but
We'll get to that later.
But I think it's beginning to. It's an opportunity for the Gladiators to lean in on that
Yeah.
now and use that as okay. Let's do that. And again, we've seen the Blues play on Sunday. They actually play some nice basketball. They just lack a big guy who's a 6'6", 6'8" big guy who maybe doesn't need to be as mobile as the young guys around him, but he makes them difficult to score on in the paint because that's where St Mirren got at them, which was really interesting. But definitely one to watch, and it's great to see. And the reaction, I don't know if anyone has seen the clips on social media, but it was the bench's reaction, which I really enjoyed the most. Like, everyone on the bench went crazy for the guy. Like, physios, team manager, coaches, the players. I think that just shows that these guys are trusting these guys as well. Like, they love to see that. And I think that's a big thing that I think people sometimes forget in basketball.
Yeah.
I mean,
You're
I'm
nodding
sorry.
along
I'm
that
really
and
sorry
go-
to send for the Gladiators again. I don't know what's gotten into me, but like, if you've won 4 games all season, why not concentrate on developing kids? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, what have you got to lose?
I
Like,
prefer
play
when you
the-
go for Leicester or Cheshire, Matt.
Sorry. Yeah, don't worry. We're only 13 minutes in, so I'm sure there's plenty of time for that.
But
But
it is true.
it's
It
wicked.
is
Like,
true.
obviously, we spoke to Lloyd about it. We've all huge fans of what Surrey are doing in developing young homegrown talent and stuff. So like, yeah, I'm absolutely all over it. Like, big up Nino, and he's got the joint best field goal percentage in the league now. So those are elite numbers. So long may it continue.
And that's a hard fact.
That is facts. That's data.
Amazing. All right, let's move on and let's look ahead. Obviously, international window's coming up. GB play against Italy this weekend, both home and away, and which is a really unusual kind of situation the GB stuff finds himself in. Everything's coming through Basketball England. We don't really know yet what the kind of full fallout is. What we have kind of said in the past is that if GB, for example, weren't to play these games, there would basically be big fallout from that with FIBA. They would not be happy, probably likely suspended from competing for a while. So it's a big thing to get these games played. But see, when we look at the long list, and okay, a long list can only mean anything. I'm still waiting for probably Ben Mockford to just turn up at training camp and all of a sudden makes the roster when he's not even in the long list. That's happened before. But when you look at that roster, I'm quite excited by it. Like, okay, these people have said, like, some of these guys might not turn up. Like, Josh Aduje might not turn up. Noah Hortzler, okay, he's been around for a while. Quinn Ellis, will Quinn turn up? Who else is on? Will Yeboah turn up? You know what I mean? Like, you don't know who's going to turn up until we start seeing photos of camp, which we'll start to see soon, I imagine. But when you look at that long list, and obviously there's a lot of SLB representation from London, which, let's be honest, in the last couple of seasons, even though London have had a lot of Brits, not a lot of them have then played for the national team. So when you see guys like Adamu, obviously for us, we've been hyping Dean Williams up. I mean, excited to see him hopefully suit up as well. It's quite an exciting squad. Who wants to take up from there? Like, who's got any? When you look at the squad, what are you hoping to see? Go on, Louis.
Yeah, okay. I really want Josh Aduje to play. That's my biggest hope. Well, because he didn't suit up last window, and I really feel like he's a really impressive guard. He won the French dunk contest, which is pretty cool. I did actually see the photos, and he is there. So,
is there photos already out? That's good.
Yes. So he's a very exciting kind of swingman, 6'5", gives us a bigger player at the 2 spot, good shooter, absolutely. Excellent slasher. Obviously Dean Williams that I've been talking about for years now. Finally in the bloody long man list, which is excellent. We all know what Dean Williams can do. I don't need to discuss that. Big up Jonathan Brown, obviously, for his first call up, which is sick. Just a bigger, I mean, we've all seen him in the league, but like a bigger 6'3" combo guard that's really quick getting downhill. I feel like he really impressed in the game against Sin Phonetics, some German BBL sides in the ENBL, where he played kind of good. So that gives us a different dynamic. Can obviously play the point guard if Quinn Ellis isn't there, because obviously they've got EuroLeague, so first game he might not be there. And then
you told me the game being in Italy, he might turn up for that one, aren't you?
Maybe, I don't know.
Or
I mean, I'm not a clairvoyant, but
or allowed to go more.
He might be allowed to turn up. It's in the same country.
Well, he might be obstructed. No, I don't have anything else to say.
But when we look,
man.
Okay. When we look at this, you look. Kyan Cleary's another name that instantly jumps out for me. That I'm excited. When I look at this team, I feel there's a bit more excitement about it. Potential of Dean Williams, Ethan Price. I know that was someone, Louis, you wish was maybe included from Eurobasket.
Yeah, we need to stretch big. We need to stretch big.
Adam has really leveled up his game. Like, I look at this list and you go, you know what? This is a really good, positive roster. Like, I'm excited to see what could happen. Obviously, Italy are like, this is where like GB maybe don't have the same top end talent as maybe Italy does out with the seasons, but during international windows, like, you've got a chance in these qualifying games. Like, we've seen it over the years, beating Germany, beating Italy, beating France, beating Greece. You know what I mean? Like, you've got a chance at this time of year. And obviously, you know, someone like Gabe Olaseni, if like he was massively missed at Eurobasket, he's now in the long list, and you go, that already, him, Miles Hessen, Carl Wheatle, you've got that core veteran group. Surround them with Quinn Ellis or Kyan Cleary or Aduje. You know what? You've already got this kind of enthusiasm coming into the team that maybe hasn't been there for a few windows.
And it feels as well like we've had some repeat, so you've got that core veteran group, like you said, but this is like maybe the second or third or fourth window that we've had those additional next generation-y type people's, like your Bellows and stuff like that, and your Akins that are coming in and doing stuff. And then obviously you've got your JBs and your Quinn Ellises and all these people. Luke Nelson as well. I don't know how he's getting on in Hungary, but like he's always tears it up when it comes to playing for GB as well. So it's just really exciting. And I think, you know, given what we've had to sit through for to follow GB basketball like recently off the court, I'm absolutely gassed to see it. And it's on DAZN for free. Like which is absolutely meant. So my courtside 1891 thing has just renewed. So could have saved myself 25 quid, but there we go. I'm sure I'll watch some obscure basketball when I'm working from home in the next couple of weeks. So yeah, all good.
But when we look at this, I want to ask this question directed towards more you, Mitch, I think. When we look at how, obviously, unsettled time still, we don't really know what the future of our governing body looks like. We don't really know what's going on. We know there's going to be meetings of stakeholders and whatnot coming forward. So then how big are these windows, both from the men and the women's setup, like in terms of just trying to set a positive narrative or a narrative that people can get invested in? Because I think sometimes it's a false dawn following the national team. The people that went to Eurobasket, like fans went to watch that. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's been so many false dawns with the growth of British basketball. Like, what can this do to potentially make it different?
Make it different, I think, is more about the consistency of it. I think who they take for the away leg will be more telling about where we're at to actually support them going abroad. You think about how many players on that long list are already in the country. 8 of them are already in the UK. So going up to Newcastle for those 8 alone shouldn't be too much of an ask. So that's the minimum 8 players that are available that are here, not including the players that are more regulars, the ones that we know playing for GB that are playing abroad at the moment. I think we can all kind of agree that Newcastle will probably get close to a sellout for a Friday night game. I think they'll get loads of people going up there to watch the GB squad play, and I hope it does sell out. I hope we get full house across the board. I just hope we get a really good contingent that are competing in Italy as well. I'm interested to see if the style of play changes across the 2 legs. If we use more of the SLB guys here, we might see a faster pace, a bit more down, a bit more up and down, a bit more energetic, a bit more pressure centric. And then if you have, again, depends who comes over and who doesn't. It's hard to get a really gauge at this stage how they're going to play, but I think in terms of a fresh dawn for GB as such, I think selling out the game at home is a massive factor and showing there's interest in that. I think also showing a statement of intent of showing who you're bringing in for both home and away will also be a good indicator of where we're at the moment for GB, in my eyes anyway.
I'm just looking through the pictures. I'm counting how many players are at least there, and you're like, there's at least 7 players I can spot. I'm like working out. So we've maybe got half a roster so far.
We've still got a little bit of time. It's only Monday. The game's not till Friday. We've got a little bit of time. So,
and you imagine guys would be flying in today, tomorrow. These will be the guys that maybe depends when seasons break. Obviously, the SLB played this weekend, so other leagues no doubt were the same. So,
well, it was a cup weekend. Yeah, it's a cup weekend for a lot of European countries. So, if they're competing in cup competitions, and then it depends if they've got does Quinellis have a EuroLeague game this week, for example, before the international break? Like, it's just those sorts of questions of
I think he has, and that's why I said about it.
Well, that's a fair point. Then he may not come in till Wednesday, Thursday, or he may just play the leg in Italy. We don't know. So a lot of waiting and seeing at this stage to see who comes across to play. But it will be a good game regardless.
So what do we all reckon a positive window is for GB? Is it getting at least a win? Is it just being on court? Like, I generally it's as bad as that to some extent. Like, just fulfilling fixtures. Like, even like if anyone listened to Stella's comments on the GB Women being told like you can only have 12 players at camp, only like 4 or 5 support staff, which I think a lot of people say, well, actually, when you're thinking about the sport's trying to save itself, that's a pretty luxurious position to be in. You're not just Stella's not having to do the S&C and the physio herself, like I suppose some coaches have done many a time over the years. Are we in this point where the fact it's in Newcastle's really clever business, let's be honest, on a Friday night, Newcastle's a really clever choice, is the fact if GB sell out Newcastle, if GB put on a good display, it's the restart Dan Clark. I even saw him suited up in some of the pictures just there, and you go, yes, imagine Dan Clark. No, let's not roll back to those Dan Clark years playing. But do you know what I mean? Like, are we at the stage where even just being on the court right now is a win?
It's a win in
think-
itself, but I don't think it's what we need to class as a win for GB for this window. Like the fact we've got the national squad playing is a positive, but that can't be all we settle for.
What are you going to say, Matt?
Well, I think as it stands, I'm just on the FIBA World Cup qualifiers Europe website, and so GB so everyone in GB's group, Italy, Iceland, and Lithuania, are all on one and one.
Yeah.
So really, if they could beat Italy, then that, you know, it's good. And like, so top three qualify, or the top three progress on to the next thing. So like, there is stuff to play for.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I think we dare we dream that these are actually let's try and win and progress in something. But
We're the ultimate hype squad. Like, let's go. GB are winning by 10. Let's go.
Yeah, that would be absolutely sick. Yeah, we beat him in Newcastle because just pure vibes and flags.
Just get Les with the drum out. They won't be used to Les with a drum.
Out.
It's not as if they have 100 Leses in Italy, but do they have a Geordie with a drum? No.
I don't know what when Lithuania came to the Copper Box, it was absolutely bumping. So I don't know if Newcastle has a big Italian community that are banging into basketball. I don't know if that's going to be the same sort of thing. But yes, no, I'm all in. So let's act like we're not worried about what tomorrow brings with the national setup, and yeah, let's go for the jugular.
Let's go for the jugular. Awesome. All right, let's crack on. Like, when we look at, it's a good time of talking about GB. It's the break in the season. I don't know why I'm holding a blue light pen. Just picked it up. The wonders of sitting at a place where your daughter has just umpteen Lego minifigures as well. Anyway, and a Wonder Woman stuffed toy. But we've been at this time. It's a good part of the season to understand where are we in terms of season. Whose stock is really on the up? Who's trending? Who are falling? Is there anyone who's going to be a top gainer heading in towards what the final part of the season is, when the action returns? When we look at the table, obviously 1 to 9, there's a massive difference between what the hell is going on, obviously. But even if we look at the last 5 games, everyone has won a game in the last 5 for them, which I think is pretty huge. There's no one who's on a crazy losing streak then at the moment. But let's go through it 1 to, I mean, we've already kind of touched on the Gladiators, what they should probably do. So we'll start with London. Is their stock on the way up? Are they staying where they are? Are they one of these ones where they're 15-3, 4-1 in their last 5 games, won both their games this weekend, already won the trophy, into the cup final, disappointing Euro Cup campaign for, you'd maybe put down they were unlucky in 3 games that they lost basically on the buzzer, plus a couple of injuries to their top European stars. What's their views? Where is their stock? Are they still rising?
Do they need a stock?
Are they this stock?
They control the market, I think, at this point.
Yeah, they control the market, man. But actually, if I'm going to say something controversial, maybe their stock's a little bit different a little bit.
Tell us why.
Well, I thought in the Manchester game, I thought they were a little bit vulnerable.
I 100%
They
agree.
look like they could lose. So
This makes the cup final very interesting. The annoying thing is they play each other before the cup final again, isn't it? Like, they play at the Copper Box, I think, on the first week back fixtures.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Manchester just have to hide their
and
stuff.
Manchester already won at the Copper Box this season.
Yeah.
Didn't I mention this last week? I thought I mentioned that there was a pattern with London where they get light games close and then they'll just scrape by at the end. That's twice now they've done it recently.
Yeah.
And that Manchester game was another one. But Manchester had it near the end of the game and London had just got by just.
Okay, one difference though. One difference. That was late fourth. Typical. Usually it's the third quarter. That game late fourth. Different.
It's not the fourth in Euro Cup.
Well, usually it's the fourth they're losing in Euro Cup.
Exactly.
Yeah. But
I can't wait for this final now. It's going to be so much fun.
Yeah, I think this game this game from that weekend really hypes up. Like if Max Jones can score 20 plus points, then they're going to be in the game. Like I actually was like thought this was a game where I'm curious to see what Joe Scott does. So obviously he's kind of the big man on the floor for Lions at the moment, going up against Matt Nicholson. Like I really enjoyed that tussle. Ethan Price as well. Like I think there's quality matchups, and we'll talk about this when we're hyping the cup final more. Like I just think this has, like we're talking about this more again, but London, I'm curious to see when it comes to cup final, who are their 4 imports? Like is Jonathan Williams going to play again this season? Is Shavar Reynolds is back, but is McGusty
What about
done
Jordan
for the
Williams?
season? And then you throw into the mix because they really need a 21st player on their roster. They bring in Jordan Williams. Do you want to know the thing that amazes me most about that whole statement? Jordan Williams is only 29. Like I feel like Jordan Williams has been around for forever. He played for Surrey. He played for Worcester. Like I generally thought Jordan Williams would have been in his 30s at least like mid 30s. No offense, Jordan Williams. You've just been playing top flight British basketball since you're obviously was like 18 years old.
Yeah.
The thing I think that's going to be key for London in maintaining their dominance in the league, and we're saying, you know, they're a bit iffy and all that. They also have 6 games back from Cheshire in second in terms of like schedule. So they're still top, having played 6 fewer games than the next best team.
So we've got to say their stock is rising because your exponential evidence. Well, come on, give me another reason.
I've given you the reason, man.
Right, Mitch, give me a reason then. That was a good reason.
There's a good reason.
I think they're consistent with what we thought they were going to be so far. I'm not.
That's okay.
Oh, he's saying it's stagnant.
I'm saying stagnant. I'm not saying rise or fall. I'm saying they're about the same. They're about my expectation. Where they are, nothing's changed the last 2 weeks. They've kind of been consistent. They've got by. They've got the wins. If they start picking up losses and those games start catching up on them, and that gap between Cheshire is not as big as we think it is, then we can have a conversation.
But that's not happening.
We don't know that. They've already lost a few games.
And they've not cancelled the game against Newcastle. But could they? But you never. Basketball's a funny thing. They have got 74 players that they can rotate in and out.
Yeah.
Matt, where you get the deciding vote? Up, down, stagnating. The stock's not really. It's kind of just trending.
Maybe they've plateaued, but they're still head and shoulders above everyone else. Like, do you know what I mean? So
you know what? Yeah,
that's a political answer.
That's probably the right answer.
Both.
All right, let's talk Cheshire. They're 14-10, won 3 at the last 2 games. However, that's with added on. They had a brilliant weekend from their point of view, getting the 2 wins. They beat Bristol basically in the last minute, and then they got a convincing victory over Surrey. Am I right in saying they made their most ever threes in a game or season high in a game with 25?
23.
They made 23 made threes. They made, according to Dan Routledge, so he can verify this, the highest number of threes Cheshire have scored ever as a team.
That's insane.
And that number of threes matches the record for most threes scored in a top level flight game since like 2008.
So the live stat era. That's a quality stat. Well done, the spreadsheets. What are we saying on Cheshire? For me, they're rising. They've kind of come through a difficult schedule. They have to be rising. Their stock's on the way up. There's not many teams, them in London were only teams that won 2 games this weekend. Okay, not everyone had 2 games, but they won their 2 games. And they've got Patrick Robinson.
They've got Patrick Robinson, that's it. Nicked it. I've actually got some stats for it. In the past 2 months, they are 8-4. They have a +6 adjusted net rating, which is 4 more than Sheffield Sharks in 3rd.
Nice.
So and
don't know what that means, but well done.
It's okay. It's adjusted. Okay, if you know what net rating is, do you know what net rating is? Please say you do.
Yes. It's something you preach about all the time.
What we know what we're talking about, because most of us have no clue.
Okay, so it's possession adjusted. Basically, points scored minus points conceded for everyone that's not fallen asleep already. Okay.
Okay.
And
That was my
then
John, sorry.
and then using maths, their projected win-loss based on the previous 2 months is 24-8, and
Okay.
then which is very much further than everyone else apart from mine. So
Good to know.
Nice.
yeah.
I think they're
think-
streaky, and I think they're going to shit the bed. And I reckon they're going to tank.
Are you telling the old Charles Barkley to live by the 3, you'll die by the 3?
That's it.
Live
I
by the
think-
take, die by the take.
That's it.
I know
yeah, I
you,
just
you
think
can't
they're-
change that take for this season like you've just had.
Like, let's be honest. If the Cheshire keep having games where Skylar White is taking pull-up threes and he's scoring 5 or 6 of them a game, are they going to lose to anybody bar potentially London?
Nah, I
Like,
mean,
he's
no
got-
one is
he's-
waiting for Cheshire's wheels to fall off more than me, but I
if you
can't
keep-
see it happening for a long
He's
time.
getting so close to being the most number of 3-pointers scored for Cheshire in the entire franchise, like period. He's getting closer and closer. If he gets 7 in one game, it's going to be like 2 weeks.
That's
and we're gonna be
7 more
done.
than I've hit in a game. In my whole career. That's 7 more than I've hit in my whole career. I've hit 1-3.
Yeah,
But
Yeah, come on, man. Pick yourself
but
up.
I
it's
know.
just telling. Like, that's a massive result, and if they can shoot consistently like that, and most again, is at home, has that benefit. But if they can do that
And
in a
sorry,
way,
we're awful.
we'll talk about sorry. Let's leave that for now. But yeah, you have to say Cheshire on the way up. They have to be after those performances.
They've kind of got like, they had such a big advantage in the amount of games they'd played that you wondered who'd be able to catch up on them. And then when you now look at it and you go, okay, who can actually, with games in hand, take over them? The only answer is now Leicester.
Yeah,
Like
3
everyone
teams-
else would still be on the same or lower.
3 teams
So-
can catch them up to tie, but it's then down to the head-to-head.
But that's what I meant. But a few weeks back, there was teams that could overtake them based on a few
Yeah.
wins. So
Yeah.
they're getting the wins on the board, that's for sure. All right, let's talk Bristol. Bristol are 12-10, 3-2 in their last 5. They won one of the weekend, obviously beating Sheffield. They went down by a point to Cheshire. I find them quite hard to rate right now, but getting that, obviously Matt wants them to go up the way. Are we saying they're rising? We can't.
Mitch,
like,
why did you do that?
It's like they're up and down, up and down.
But they have been up and down all season. It's almost as if month about they've been good, then they've been bad, then they've been good. Matt's now named it Zanderson and Janderson. Is that right?
Yeah, all the Anderson twins.
Or
But
the Anderson
I'm
twins.
having fun with that. But yeah, everything goes through Janderson at the moment. But Zanderson is, you can't sag off Zanderson. Yeah, I just think at the moment, I think they have been a little bit up and down, like you say. But I think currently their
Heading into the international
trajectory
window
is-
was the question. So
yeah.
heading into the international window, are they flatlining to just slightly increasing? Like their stock slightly rising?
I think they ran Cheshire close, who we've just said are the best of the rest.
Probably should
And-
have beat Cheshire.
Which probably should have beaten. They absolutely
home.
smoked him in the first half. I'd say they had the better of them, and then obviously they just kind of pipped it at the end. Fair play to them. But currently, as we speak, I think had we not had that big wobble in the middle of the season, you could say that about everyone. But I think, Will Yoakum as well is also playing out of his skin. He played out of his skin against Cheshire, and then kind of went a bit more quiet against Sheffield, I think. I'm incredibly biased, but I think they're currently trending upwards ever so slightly.
Louis, what's your views?
I think it's like a small gradient.
A
little bit.
small gradient.
Small gradient, but going
Small
up.
increase.
Small increase, but going up.
Incremental gains.
Incremental gains. Okay, so to actually talk basketball instead of gradient. Yeah, I think I just think the recent couple games have looked good. I think
And is
Evan
that
Walsh,
is that the new additions? I was about to say, yeah, Evan Walsh, Cam Christen getting in, and
I mean, Cam Christen wasn't. I mean, I haven't watched the Cheshire game yet, to be perfectly frank. But
Fair.
I haven't really seen much from Cam Christen yet. But I think Evan has been a big boost as like an additional guard.
Yep.
Yeah, not really much to say, and they look like they've got their intensity back because
I'd
they
agree with
went
that.
through. Because I think that's a big part of their identity. Obviously, we know that about Bristol, their defensive solidity, and yeah, they just look better. So,
Mitch, where do you have them?
Same as everyone else. Slight upward trajectory.
Can't argue
That's
that.
it.
And that's what's happening. All right, fourth place currently Sheffield Sharks, 11-10, 2-3, 2 from the last 5. They obviously got 1 win at the weekend over the Gladiators on Friday night. Second half, they were brilliant against the Gladiators to totally put them to the sword, but then seemed to just limp into that game with Bristol. And that's maybe the story of their kind of season. Like, genuinely, it feels as if like they have one really good weekend and then a weekend where they really struggle. Like, I find they could be the hardest team to rank. They have got a positive record. I don't think you could say, in my opinion, you can say their stock is falling, or can you? Like, give me your views. Mitch, you go first, as I've dropped a pen lid, so go.
Sheffield wise, I'm kind of
Found
stagnant
it.
with them, to be honest. I'm kind of in the boat. I'm the same as you. Like, they got a really good win on Friday against a team that we said they should beat in terms of
Yep.
Gladiators. We expected that result, but they just couldn't get across the line against Sheffield, against Bristol even. They're a hard team to make up, I think, because like I'm trying to think the best way to put it. Because we've kind of had the same sort of discussions about them most of the season, where they have loads of really good individual talented players. The challenge has always been gelling them together and making that work. They're going to be one of these inconsistent teams. They're probably going to finish mid-table, and like we kind of touched on it last week as well,
Yeah.
about this being an important weekend for them to kind of solidify their in contention on that top half of the table. At the moment, I'm kind of like, they're going to finish 4th, 5th probably. They're going to be in that matchup for the middle of the playoffs, really.
Yeah.
I mean, they still have a standing possibility to, if they win 3 games, to catch up with Cheshire, they'll match Cheshire. Do we think they're going to do that? It's yet to be seen, and I'm just not too sure. Like, because they brought in Faro Ali Hodzic, right? That was the new signing they brought in, and he had a really good game against Gladiators on Friday, but then couldn't match that performance on Sunday. Is he going to be the difference maker to make them go on a bit of a run in the second half of the year? The benefit they kind of have is that they've got Surrey twice in their next 5 games and Leicester as well, but they've also got London twice. So 3-2 is probably the best they're going to get in the next 5.
Are
If
they
that's
just
gonna-
that team though that just trends above 500 because of we talked about this before we started recording, that midfield
Yeah.
battle is really tight, like,
Yeah.
or even you could say from second to 7th is really tight, like it is.
Yeah.
So like anyone, no one's going to have a commanding head-to-head over multiple teams this time, right? It's going to be like you have the 2 against them, they have it over you, like loads of different ways in that matrix, I suppose. So is Sheffield just that's where they are this season, and maybe the poor start in terms of injuries has maybe been the thing that's impacted them to this stage? Matt, what do you think?
I think kind of when we kind of came into the season, we all kind of had Sheffield as, if we have these 3 tiers, it's handy having a 9-team league
Yeah.
for this one reason, where you can kind of break them into like 3 sets of 3. And I think we all kind of had Sheffield, at the bottom of that top tier.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of ringing true. So yeah, about kind of where they are. I don't think they have any glaring faults really, apart obviously injury and stuff like that. Obviously against Bristol, I think Dirk Williams sort of made it look a lot better than it did. He kind of went off for 29, I think. So like, there's question marks there, but I think they're a decent team, but I think there's others around them that have just executed better, I think.
So what are we saying? Are they the first team needs proper, like, okay, expectations I don't think their stock's trending down. They're a plus 500 team.
They're just kind of
Maybe that flat line to maybe the same kind of gradient as Bristol because they keep on getting wins.
I think they've certainly
The
been more
stocks-
consistent than Bristol this year. So I think like it's fair that they're kind of up there.
Okay.
But
So
yeah,
their
I think
stock's
they're
slightly rising.
sort of just ticking along. I think they're kind of
Yeah.
where we'd expect them to be, and I think they're kind of not. It kind of feels like they're coasting at the moment, but coasting
Yeah.
quite high. So it's a funny
Right,
one.
let's look. Manchester in 5th, which is crazy to think. 11 and 10. They're 2 and 3 from their last 5. They've had big wins. They've had crazy disappointing defeats. They lost obviously to Gladiators. They won 1 from 2 across the weekend. They had a commanding victory over Newcastle before a tightly fought battle with London. They're into the cup final. They're into the ENBL playoffs, the only British team to do that. I actually think, though, they seem to have really sorted their shit out. Which is crazy to say when I'm saying they've got a 2 and 3 record. But this is purely when you look at their last 2 games, and it's very much recency bias. Like, they were good against London. They were excellent against Newcastle. The game before that was Gladiators. They lost that. But do you know what I mean? Like, it's one, like, when you go from just this weekend alone, I'm like, you know what? They're looking the best they've looked for a long time. It's coming into an important part of the season where you want a team like that to be reaching their kind of peak. Matt's analogy of the 3 tiers, I think everyone had them second in the top tier coming into the season. And okay, they're some way off that at the moment, but with games in hand, you don't know. Like, where are we seeing in Manchester heading into this international period? Louis, where do you have them?
I think, in terms of league, I think they're just going to be inconsistent. They're going to turn up in games against London, against the top half, and then in other games they're just going to look terrible. I think they're just like a playoff team. I think they're going to turn it up in the playoffs. I think we've seen it in the games against London that they're in one-off games, they're really tough. But it's just maintaining that level of like concentration and composure in just regular season games.
I was going to say, are they the
seems to be
type
the
of team that will drop? They're like, okay, they absolutely battered Newcastle, but that dropped game against the Gladiators is a sore one.
It's a very
And that's
sore
a
one.
It's a what one?
It's a very sore one.
That's such a sore one. You think if we're like, oh yeah, like it's the definition of that was a bad defeat for them. Because one minute they didn't look great that day, and then they go play Newcastle off the court. They've obviously dropped games to Surrey this season. You're like, they don't look a great side then. And then you see them play London, and you go, is this the same team that played a week ago and that were battered off the court? Like, is that an issue where they can get up for the big games, but the regular season games that you expect them to take the win, that they're just not delivering yet? Is that where having a import core that are basically majority are pretty rookie, are all rookies, aren't they? Or at least 3 or 4 of them are complete rookies, and you go, that's maybe where the difference is compared to say a Lions or even, well, yeah, every other team maybe got 1 or 2 imports that are pretty experienced. Thoughts? Anyone?
Yeah, I think that's what good teams do, right? Like, even when they're playing badly, they win. I mean, losing to Caledonia is a disgrace at this point.
Yep.
But
wow.
one thing, another, like, if I just have a look at the form table, they're 4 and 6 in their last 10. The only 2 teams with form worse than that is Newcastle and the Gladiators. So, like, I'm going to pin my colours to the mast and say, going into the international break, they're trending down. Not again, some nice flashy points, but
Yeah.
see my comments on Newcastle earlier. Then, like, cool, you can be good for important games, but you got to stay consistent. And at the moment, they're not consistent enough for their stock to be rising.
But
Sell your Manchester stock is what I'm saying.
Sell your
Get
Manchester
it out
stock.
of your portfolio.
You're selling the stock. Okay. I'm not selling it yet.
Basketball coin is dipping. So.
Hey, Mitch, what's your thoughts?
I'm not selling on Manchester yet. I mean, the Gladiators game was 2 weeks ago by context, so they've had a week away to sort their heads out because
They had the
had the
Gladiators
Cheshire
game and then they got through the cup.
yeah, like they had the Cheshire 1 point win, then a 1 point loss to Caledonia, then they had the cup final hitting. So I don't know. I wouldn't say they're on a downward tilt yet. I think that I think it depends on your perception of the London game. I think because did Manchester lose that game or did London win that game at the end? Really, because Manchester had a chance to take it, but I think London just did enough to get across the line.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
So I would, in my opinion, I would be on the upward trajectory with Manchester because they've got the
See, I
they've got
think
the
I am too. Yeah,
because
I think I'm stocks up.
despite the loss to London, like they got through the cup, they did well in that competition. Newcastle dominant win. Don't need to say any more about that one. But the London game, London just did enough to get across the line. But let's be honest, if we were that negative on Manchester, we wouldn't be looking forward to the final after that game.
I know, that's so true as well. All right, Lou, you get the casting vote.
I'm saying up.
He's saying up too.
Oh,
Saying
3.
up.
So basketball coins is on the rise, supported by Grant, Louis, and Mitch. Matt says sell your stock. So take from that what you want.
I think, to be honest, I think it's middle. I just don't think they're a league team. I think they're an EMBO and playoffs, big time Charlies. You know.
I know.
So you're saying they're Newcastle from last year?
Yeah, they're the Tres Amigos Newcastle. Newcastle 2 years ago.
Even better.
The Trey Amigos era. Time to be alive. Right, sixth place. We'll 51 minutes in. Rattle through this where we can. Surrey 10-11 for the season. They're 2-3 over their last 5. They came out the weekend. A horrible weekend for them, not getting anything from it. Kind of at the end of 2 big defeats. Obviously, that defeat to Newcastle, defeat to Cheshire. Wasn't a weekend for them. Squad depth is now proven to be a thing. Like, we've been so high in Surrey since Christmas. They've been the informed team for a large part of 2026 so far. But Michael Graham's been hurt a lot recently. Ron Polite III's been hurt a lot, struggling as well. He's kind of limped through some games. Like, we had hopes that, you know what, they actually could be the kind of team that could go up, up and up. But it feels like now they've got to consolidate where they are, and that's not a good place to be. Is that fair enough? Louis, go.
Okay, when are we saying the span of games is for the
heading into the international period was the question, was the caveat.
Okay,
if you want to go last 10, or you wanting to go?
If we're saying last 10, they go not. If we're saying last 5, then they're gonna head it down.
If you're saying last 2, they fell off a cliff.
Nice.
So take your pick.
Nice.
Take your pick.
Okay, so Mr. Grant, what are you accepting? What do you want me to
give me your views? It can be any. Like, give us your summarization of it. Like,
my summarization. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. To summarize, I think Surrey. Okay. Ultimately, I think Surrey are trending upwards, but they need their guys to be healthy, because I think that's been the big issue. So when they're all healthy, up. When they haven't been healthy, cliff. So they need to be healthy.
Matt Hardy.
Yeah, it's a tricky one, isn't it? Because they've kind of got that, what I just slagged Manchester off for doing, where they'll beat Riders in London and then go lose to, and then they had tough losses against Manchester in the Cup. And then obviously just lost another 2. But I think if we're taking Surrey for what we thought where Surrey would be, then I'd say they're trending up for what our expectations were. But yeah, it's hard to look past their recent results. So it's a tricky one. But I'm
as an advisor for the stock market, what are you saying? Are you is it a be wary, because like is this one where the stock at the moment is settled It rose quite quickly and rightfully so, got praised for it. But after a disastrous weekend, is it one that maybe you're watching to see what happens next?
I think it's one of those where Surrey are kind of like a loss leader at the moment. Like you never cash in all your Surrey chips because they're everyone's favorite, like second favorite team.
I think that's the best way to look at it. I'd agree with that. So keep hold of your Surrey coin for now, is what we're saying.
Yeah.
Keep
Your
hold of
head
Surrey.
might tell you to get rid of it, but you got to listen to your heart when it comes to Surrey.
Yeah, that's a heart and head moment. All right, let's look at 7th place Leicester, 9-9, 3-2 in the last one. They only played London this weekend and they went down in that one. No, was it London?
Yeah.
Yes, it was London.
It was London.
It was
Yeah.
London. It was at the Copper Box. I find Leicester a really difficult team to know and rate because they're 9-9. They've played the joint fewest games in the schedule. It's Rob Paternostro. It's Raekwon Battle. First question: can Raekwon Battle be given MVP if his team finishes 7th?
No.
100% no.
Hell no.
Agree. So where
Thanks.
are we on the? I coughed away. Oh, where are we on the Leicester Riders stock? Mitchell, you go first on this one.
As of right now, I'm looking at their previous games. I'm looking at what they've done, where they're sitting in the league right now. My kind of thought goes: they're 3 games behind the next 3 teams above them. Are they going to match them when they come back in? And I think they've got a shot, a good shot. I'm holding steady. I think they're not up or down; they're stagnant, but I would expect a rise.
I'm putting some coin into them. I'm certainly putting some coin into them to think, you know what, this is going to give me a return.
I think the main thing they have, I think Surrey. This also applies to Surrey. I think the international break is a really good timing for them to take a week, reset and recalibrate and be ready to go. If they can get one other person consistently going off with Raekwon and Carey on a regular basis, that team is a problem. As a team to avoid in the playoffs potentially. Like, I'm saying they're staying flat at the moment, but I would expect a rise post break.
Matt Hardy, you're nodding away there.
Yeah, it's boring, isn't it? It's the same fucking thing every season with Leicester. They're like, they start off shit, you count them out, and you're happy about it. And then
They make some changes
because Ryder's going to ride, and yeah, they'll come good in the end because that's what they do. No one likes it.
And Rob Lutra.
But no, yeah, it's again just to go back to the analogies. It's just like you never out with Leicester because they always tend to come good.
Like the historical data says,
like the sample size is too big, like to count them out. They've been playing top level British basketball since like 1846 or something, and they just
since the
that's
dawn
what
of
they
time,
do. Since before basketball was invented, and yeah,
some say basketball was invented in Leicester.
Yeah, well, that's it. I wish I fucked it. I should have had a funny comeback to that, but I couldn't think of anything because Leicester just suck all the life out of me. But here we are.
That's what good their defense
sorry,
is.
Leicester.
Works every time. It just sucks the life out of you.
That's it. That's it. That is it. Much like a stifling defense. I want to take my ball and go home.
Right, Louis, where are you in Leicester before him? How can you rise up to what Matt just said?
No, I can't match that. Okay, so I obviously really like their new acquisitions. The issue is they haven't been able to defend anyone. They've got an adjusted defensive net rating for the past 2 months of 120. They are dead last. They need to defend someone. Otherwise they're not going to win games. So I obviously love Raekwon. I love Donald Carey. I love the fact they somehow managed to wrangle back the big man. But yeah, they just need to actually like defend their basket. That's a long short of it. So it's kind of
So that's
apprehensive. Up.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe
Yeah.
maybe neutral. I don't know.
A begrudging up.
So it's one
Yeah.
of those ones where, because of Leicester historically, you put some chips in on them, but actually this season they're actually defensively not like what they're normally like. So
And why have they played 6 games in 2026 when we're about to go into March?
we're about to go to 2027.
No, but like they
They
own
don't
their
even
own
have the
arena.
NBL. They don't
I
even
mean,
have the
Gladiators have
NBL.
hardly played any games either this year.
So they've got their next 5 games, looking at the dates, 4th, 7th, 13th, 15th, 20th of March. So it's like 2 doubleheader weekends with a game in the middle. So it's pretty regular. They're going to have a lot of games post international break, but then so are London.
So what we're
Mm.
basically saying is, when we have this chat midway in a month's time, when Leicester are 5 games down the road, they could either be sitting pretty second, third in the table, or still where they are. And by Louis' net ratings, they've got to find some sort of defensive element to their game.
No.
Is
If
that
you look at who
basically
they're,
the summarization of it?
I mean, you look at who they're playing: Sheffield at home, Surrey away, Cheshire at home, Gladiators away, and then home for Gladiators too. So they're looking at that. If we can't go 4-1 minimum, it's a bad 5 games for them. Because if they can't stop Cheshire shooting the ball, then their defense is not going to get any better anyway. So, like, that's going to be their tester, I think, personally.
Perfect. It's a tough one to rate Leicester, but it's maybe with the games in hand, you put in a wee bit of your stock to them. All right, 8th place, Newcastle Eagles, 7-14, 1-4. They obviously got the win over Surrey at the weekend. They did lose to Manchester last week. We spoke a lot. I think it was last week on the show we talked about Newcastle quite in depth. I think it was last week or the week before last, about having to maybe watch out for behind them. That win was really important for them this weekend. But is it really is this another similar story to Leicester, whereas you can't really count them out? They did okay in the trophy, did pretty well in the trophy final. They've got so much talent. They've got GB play caller Mark Sturtle, in case you didn't know that. I still think they're trending down, but that could just be with my Gladiators hat on, because it's Newcastle. Louis, go.
I mean, single game, I think they're going to be all right, decent. But in the league, they're just they're cooked. Nothing more to it.
Matt?
Yeah, it couldn't be any lower. Like, so they were so last year they finished 8th in the league. The year before that they finished 5th in the league, and they're going to finish 8th in the league this year. Like, cool. They have some cup runs and stuff like that, and well done for Europe and stuff. But like I said earlier, you're nothing in the league. So like, it's just they don't show any signs of going up in my estimations. They are firmly in that bottom tier of it's them, Surrey, and Gladiators in that kind of bottom rung of the league.
Are we at a stage where, if Josh Ward-Hibbert comes back, does he actually move the needle for them in terms of helping them get league victories? Like, Louis, you're scoffing. But is he that defensive element that helps shore them up? Like I've kind of hyped the return of Josh Ward-Hibbert as such a big part for Newcastle this season. Like, it feels like I think he's only played like 4 games, if that. But I feel like he is pivotal to any kind of progress that they make. Or am I just pie in the sky? We're telling everyone that don't put anything on Newcastle. They'll make the playoffs because we only have 9 teams and they're the second worst team this season, as we said they would be.
I really like Josh Ward-Hibbert, but if you're pinning your hopes on a 32-year-old Josh Ward-Hibbert,
who used to play tennis, by the way,
who apparently used to play tennis, never heard that in my life, then I just think that just kind of shows where you're at, Like,
They've already got Josh Ward-Hibbert.
He is a good player, but if you're like, fuck, like he's going to change this team, for the better, then maybe you don't have enough other bits and pieces.
Mitch, are you in agreement with what kind of Matt and myself have said?
Pretty much. I mean, short term, Rayshon Taylor's stock's gone up a good bit. Everyone else, a lot to be desired.
Yeah, I think I'm in agreement with that. Right, on to the Gladiators, 4-16. Last 5 games, 1-4. They obviously went down to Sheffield at the weekend.
Do we need to do though?
Their stock. Well, we need to
dead.
complete
What
it.
if you never had any stock in them in the first place?
Exactly. You've not put your stock in them after last season. You're not going to. Is it more? I'm trying to think of a way to guide this conversation, and I can't other than saying you're not going to put money onto them because the best they could hope for is Newcastle keep sliding and somehow their downwards bits, maybe not as down as Newcastle's, and they maybe meet somewhere around about game 30. Do you know what I mean? Like, is that the only thing that they're battling for? Is the slight potential of Newcastle sliding further than them?
I think the only thing they're battling for, Nino Safford minutes.
Nino Safa stock. That's a straight line up.
Yeah.
Get. I mean, we shouldn't be gambling with 16-year-olds, but
No.
Nino Safa hitting a 3, looking good. Keep the minutes coming, and then we'll be happy.
Yep.
Is that all that we can say on the Gladiators?
Yeah, I mean,
I
I
don't
feel like
know.
I've absolutely pasted the Gladiators in the last hour or so. So big up Nino, and there's always next season.
I'm trying not to have my Scottish hat on here too much.
So
No, but it's
No,
true
it's
though.
not.
Like,
I know,
how can you say
no.
anything else about the team ranked bottom of the table with
I know,
4 wins in the regular season? Like,
I know,
there's been
but
games early on where they maybe thought, you know what, they're a basket or 2 away from getting results. That's not happened for weeks now. Like, there was maybe a Newcastle game. No, there's maybe one game in the last month or so where you thought, you know what, they maybe could have done better in that game and got the victory. Whereas October, November time, there was a lot of what ifs, buts, and maybes. There's no ifs, buts, and maybes at the moment.
Yeah.
just absolutes.
Just
absolute
absolute
shit.
second half collapses.
I think this is a time not just for Nino and for the young players, but I also think it's a good time for Johnny to get some more development time.
Yeah.
And actually,
Yeah.
and just spend a lot of time trying to develop his craft and how he wants to play and what he's looking for. Because this is prime time. The games are realistically, you're hoping Newcastle lose games. You're probably not making the playoffs, so this is a chance for him to focus on his development and be better for next year. That's kind of another way to look at it. It's, can you get back to that streak of being competitive in games, not necessarily win them, but rather than losing by 22 points at the weekend, are you losing by 10?
I
Are you
just
at
want a
least-
season, Mitch, where Gladiators were always around about 5th or 6th in the table, always kind of had a positive record. Do you know what I mean? One of those kind of just standard old school rock seasons. Do you know what I mean?
Give it time. It's Johnny's first full year as a coach. I'm still giving him a little bit of hope.
Oh, absolutely.
He's still working towards his 10,000 hours, isn't he? I think that's kind of that's what they say in it. You could do 10,000 hours or something before you nail it. And I think the whole of British basketball is pulling for Johnny. I think like no one wants to see him do bad or his position be in question. So yeah, I think that's definitely a positive the Glads can take. Is just that like it's just all learning and it's all
Yeah, it's just
finding
I
its
think
way.
it's being getting a reality check of what your expectations were. Like, did we expect Gladiators to finish anywhere of note in the league? Not really, anyway.
I think we all had them round about between 7th and 9th in our predictions.
And if they get more development time for Johnny, more development time for the young players, the younger Brits in that roster get some more reps, is it the worst thing in the world? No, because it actually might actually identify, some better level British talent maybe hidden in the rough.
Nice one. Anything else anyone wants to add? Any like big news? Other than everyone needs to get onto DAZN and watch the GB game on Friday night, where hopefully GB will dismantle the Italians and win by 10, smash them up. You know what I mean? Is that
Smash
where
and
the
grab.
hype? Smash
grab.
and grab, hit the plane, try and not get battered away from home, which seems to happen quite often when you sneak us a close win. And that'll do for this one show. So all 4 of us were back. This was good fun. I hope everyone enjoyed listening to this. Give us a share on social media. Give us a like. Even though if you're watching on YouTube, like it, hit that thumbs up button, hit the red button, whatever it is on your YouTube. If you're on Spotify still listening to us, or wherever podcast medium you listen to, a wee 5-star review would be amazing too.
We're on the road to 1 million subs, guys. So just trying to keep that momentum going. We're on the road to 1 million. So
on the way to 1 million subscribers, on YouTube. We're on the way to it. We're there. We're on the road.
Like a diamond play button behind Grant in SLB Show HQ on the wall.
It's not there yet. We've not. It's not.
Working towards it.
You need to go on the buy me a coffee so I can buy a button.
I'm sure there's you can 3D print one from somewhere or something. I don't know.
I don't have a 3D printer, but anyway, that'll do for today. So thank you for watching. Thanks to the guys as well, and we'll be back next week, and we'll probably chat some GB basketball. So from all of us, we'll see you then.